Welcome back. I am here to walk you through your in-class assignment today so that you understand it and you know what you're doing. We are talking about target heart rate, and it's important that you're able to calculate your target heart rate so that you know if you're exercising in that right zone to help improve your fitness levels and to help make your heart and lungs stronger. So your in-class assignment looks like this. Oh, that's so blurry. There we go. So make sure that you change the color of your font when you answer the questions so that I can see what you're doing. So your name and your class period up top. Calculate your target heart rate zone. Find your resting heart rate by counting your pulse for 1 minute. So when you are counting your pulse for 1 minute, you're just going to put your finger right here, kind of in this like empty space almost right here between your throat and your neck muscle. Use 2 fingers. You should be able to feel your heartbeat right in this area. If you are struggling to feel your heart rate in this area, you can use right here on your thumb. You have veins, and you probably might even be able to see them. You have veins and arteries running through here where you'll be able to feel your pulse. Again, you want to use 2 fingers right here in your wrist. Your thumb has a pulse too, so you don't want to use your thumb when you do these things because you'll count not only the thumb from the pulse that you feel from your thumb, but the pulse that you're feeling from your arteries. So you have your carotid artery up here, which is a big artery. So this is one of the ones that's easiest to feel. So this is where I would start, and this is where you're looking at doing, okay? So like right on the side of your throat is where you should be able to feel. And just find a timer on your Chromebook or something, time yourself for a minute, have the timer going, and just count in your head, like not out loud, in your head, how many times your heart beats in 60 seconds. Okay, that's your resting heart rate. So that's what you are doing in number 1. So if you're looking here, find your resting heart rate by counting your pulse for 1 minute. So you're finding your resting heart rate. Resting heart rate is the number of times your heart beats in 1 minute while you're at rest, while you're sitting still doing nothing but schoolwork or sitting still doing nothing but watching TV. That's your resting heart rate, okay? For number 2, you're gonna find your maximum heart rate by subtracting your age from 220. So I gave you an example. If you're 20 years old, you would take 220 minus 20, which is your age. You guys are not 20, you're 11 and 12, probably maybe 13. So you're gonna take 220 and subtract how old you are. And that's where you're gonna get this maximum heart rate. If I was doing this one, if I was a 20-year-old and 220 minus 20, my maximum heart rate would be 200. Okay, so subtract, there's probably a calculator on your Chromebook somewhere also. You can even Google one if you need a calculator to do that. You'll need a calculator, so it might be a good idea to go ahead and Google that anyway. Okay, subtract your resting heart rate, which is the result of number 1, from your maximum heart rate, which is the result of number 2. So let's just say my resting heart rate was 100, okay? My maximum heart rate was 200. I would subtract my resting heart rate from my maximum heart rate. So my maximum heart rate would go first. 200 minus 100 would give me 100 right there, okay? So what you're doing is you are subtracting number 2 from number 1. So subtract your resting heart rate, this result, from your maximum heart rate, which is that result, and come up with your answer right here on this line. Okay, it gets a little trickier now, but not too tricky, so don't worry, you will still be able to figure it out. Okay, we are going to multiply to find the low end of our target heart rate zone and the high end of your target heart rate zone. Okay, so you're going to multiply the answer from step 3 by 60%, or 0.60. So if my answer from here was 100, I'm going to multiply that by 0.60, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing for the high end of my target heart rate zone. If I came up with 100 for right here, I'm multiplying 100 by 0.80, okay? So once you multiply those out, you're going to write them on the line. So if I'm multiplying 100 by 0.60, I'm coming up with 60. And if I'm multiplying 100 by 0.80, I'm coming with 80. That's going right here, okay? Understand that my example is not your answers. right? I just made up my resting heart rate at 100, which is a little bit high, but still within the normal range. So your resting heart rate might be much lower than that. It might be a little bit higher than that. So you can't take the numbers I'm giving you. You have to find your own resting heart rate. You have to take your own age and subtract it from 220 to come up with your own answers. So just because I'm giving you an example doesn't mean that my answers are your answers, okay? So you're taking your answer from number 3 and multiplying it by 0.60 right here. And on this line, you're taking your answer from number 3 and multiplying it by 0.80, okay? And you can write those on that line right there. All right, coming down, one more step. Pretty easy. You're gonna take your answer from number 4, your low end answer from number 4, and put it right there. And you're gonna add it to your resting heart rate, which is what you had up here in answer number 1, and gives you the answer, okay? You'll do the same thing. You're gonna take your answer from number 4, the high end right here, and put it down right there, the high end number from step 4, and you're gonna add it to your resting heart rate from step 1, so same number as right here, the resting heart rate from step 1, and you come up with an answer. So remember, my example was I had 60 here and 80 here, so I put 60 and 80, and my example, my resting heart rate was 100, so I'll put 100 in both of those blanks, and I come up with 160 and 180. So my target heart rate on number 6, the low end is this answer right here was 160, and the high end is 180. So when I exercise, my heart rate should be somewhere between 160 and 180 beats per minute. So in that minute, I should be able to get my heart rate up to 160 beats to 180 beats per minute. That's what's going to give me the best cardiovascular workout. That's what's going to improve my heart strength and my lung strength, okay? So that's how you walk through finding your target heart rate. Now there's a few other steps that we're going to do for fun. You get to exercise a little bit here. So just either in the back of the room or right by your desk, somewhere where you have room, you're going to walk in place for 1 minute. After you walk in place, so after you've completed your 1 minute, then you're going to count your pulse for 1 minute. So pull your timer back up on your Chromebook, walk for a minute. As soon as you finish, find your pulse and count what your pulse is, and then write it down on the line. You're going to do the same thing for jogging in place. So you'll jog in place for 1 minute. As soon as the timer ends, put your finger up on your carotid artery, count your pulse for 1 minute, write it down. Jumping jacks for 1 minute, and then running high knees for 1 minute. Okay, so you have 4 exercises to do for 1 minute, then you'll count your pulse for 1 minute, and you'll write it down on the line. And you're gonna see which one gets you closest, hopefully one of them gets you into your target heart rate zone. Then there's just 3 questions to wrap up. Which exercises bring your heart rate into the target heart rate zone? What does it feel like when your heart rate is in the target heart rate zone? Are you tired? Are you out of breath? And why do you think it's important to exercise in the target heart rate zone? So these 3 questions on here kind of make up for the wrap-up questions from our notes today, since I didn't give you wrap-up questions because our notes went kind of long. So make sure you answer those questions. You will have to figure out your target heart rate on your test. So you need to know how to do this assignment. And I know this video is getting a little lengthy as well. We're pushing 9 minutes already. But I want to make sure you understand target heart rate is one of the best ways to determine if your exercise is good, if it's a good exercise. If your heart rate is low, you need to change your intensity for sure. You might need to change the type of exercise that you're doing or the time. It might need to be longer. So if your target heart rate is falling short, you need to look at your FIT principle and alter some things to make your exercise program a little bit more effective, to make sure that you're really getting the benefits that you should be getting from doing the exercise. So if you have questions, let me know. This is something obviously I love to talk about, and it's one of my favorite things to teach about. So just let me know if you have further questions and we can answer them. All right, guys, again, have a great day. Bye.